Welcome to the Fox 54 Week in Review. I'm Kenesha Dees. It's the only place in North Alabama to get this week's local headlines condensed into one program. Here's a taste of what's ahead. Our top story this week: Huntsville Utilities customers can no longer opt out of smart meters. Some residents still want a say in what gets installed in their homes and spoke up at a public meeting. Smart meters, the digital devices that monitor energy use, are becoming standard across the country, but here in Huntsville, they've become the center of a heated debate. Huntsville Utilities began the rollout of smart meters in 2019. HU says smart meters help detect outages, improve billing accuracy, and reduce the need for in-person meter readings. But some residents say the rollout has gone too far, especially after being told they can no longer opt out. That tension boiled over at a meeting this morning. Fox 54's Kim McCoy was there and has more on how the residents are feeling.
This morning, concerned Huntsville residents packed the Huntsville Utilities Board meeting, urging leaders to rethink smart meters, calling for transparency, a choice, and a voice in what goes on their homes. Members of the group Stop Smart Meters North Alabama took turns at the podium, pushing back against the utility's recent decision to require smart meter installation, even for those who previously opted out.
Back in 2022, I was allowed to opt out of the smart meter, so I don't have one currently, and I do not desire one for a lot of reasons.
The group claims smart meters emit harmful radio frequencies and have caused fires, concerns not widely backed by mainstream scientific research, including the American Cancer Society, who says in part, because the amount of RF radiation you could be exposed to from a smart meter is much less than what you could be exposed to from a cell phone, it's very unlikely that living in a house with a smart meter increases cancer risk. But still, those attending say they should have an option in what goes on their homes, especially when health and safety are a concern.
I have trouble sleeping at night. I believe that having this on my house would harm me. I have 5 grandchildren that I'm concerned about. Their little bodies and skulls are smaller and more susceptible to damage.
We should have the right to opt out. Where there's a risk, there must be a choice.
We have increase in dementia. We have increase in behavior problems and neurodiversity in the school. Why? I mean, look at the charts.
As a mother, I'm asking you, please consider what is at stake with our children. Because we don't know what this causes long term.
And more importantly, residents are asking to be a part of the conversation.
We hope to work with y'all to get a mutually beneficial solution and to educate each other.
Let us be informed and make informed decisions that protect us. Let us be the leader that we are in this area.
Huntsville Utilities says they're reviewing all comments from the meeting and will make a decision at a later date. In Huntsville, Kim McCoy, Fox 54 News.
Huntsville Utilities says it's looking at more ways to open up discussions on the matter until they come to a resolution. And some Huntsville students will start the year on a new campus, upgraded facilities for teaching, trade, and workforce skills. Let's take a look at the Center for Technology. The Huntsville City Schools opening a massive new campus on North Memorial Parkway to help local students. They cut the ribbon this morning on their new administrative office and Center for Technology, aimed at bringing in high school kids to teach them trades and workforce skills. They will offer 11 different programs like welding, automotive technology, culinary arts, and even cosmetology. Director and Principal Zach McWhorter says it's going to help students with a variety of skills.
They will obviously get the skills that they need to start out in introductory level positions as well. But we also are going to give them the opportunity to develop their essential workplace skills, workforce development skills. What we call the soft skills. So be able to clock in, clock out, be able to wear uniforms, be able to collaborate with their classmates, work together with the instructor. Communication.
Students at the center going through an application process for enrollment in the school. They filled 700 slots out of a capacity for 800 students. HCS Communications Officer Craig Williams saying they're giving those students another option for workforce readiness.
Our goal is for students to leave our new Career Tech Center with the skills, knowledge, and experience to enter the workforce and enter industry. We all know that not all students want to go to college, and the beauty of a place like our new Career Tech Center is, in a lot of cases, they won't be experiencing the student loan debts that some of their other classmates may be experiencing because they have those industry credentials that they earned while in high school where they can go straight to industry. So that's what we're really excited about.
Lots of opportunity. The center and administrative offices are located on North Memorial Parkway. The ribbon cutting and celebration today saw well more than 100 people there. Those classes beginning August 4th. Next, we'll head over to Madison, where the delay in completion of a roundabout could cause traffic headaches going into the new school year. A major Madison intersection was supposed to reopen by August 1st, just in time for the new school year. But tonight, city officials confirmed that timeline won't be met. Several road projects are underway in the city of Madison, all aimed at easing congestion in the fast-growing area. And one of the biggest, the new roundabout at Huntsville Browns Ferry and Burr Green Road. But construction is taking longer than expected. Fox 54's Ken McCoy explains what's behind the delay and when the road could finally reopen.
If you've been driving around the Huntsville Browns Ferry and Burr Green Road area, you've likely had to take the long way around. And now city officials confirmed the roundabout project there will not meet its original August 1st opening date. Construction began back on April 21st, shutting down the entire intersection. The goal was to finish before school starts, but Madison city leaders now say that timeline was always ambitious. The city provided this statement with Fox 54 saying in part, while the project is progressing on schedule, completion is expected in August, likely after the start of the school year. We appreciate the community's patience as contractors work to efficiently complete this improvement. They say the contractor is still operating within the number of days allotted in the contract. But wet weather in May and June slowed progress, especially during critical utility work and large drainage installations. So what does that mean for drivers? Detours will stay in place, including routes like Holiday Drive, Hardeman Road, Powell, and Bowers for the time being. While there's no firm new reopening date yet, city officials say they're pushing to finish as soon as possible and will provide updates as crews move closer to completion. In the meantime, commuters are urged to plan ahead and allow extra time, especially as the school year begins. We'll continue monitoring progress and let you know when that intersection is finally ready to reopen. In Madison, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
For a complete list of those alternate routes and up-to-date traffic information, visit our website, fox54.com. A heartwarming moment in Madison this week. Little learners flipped through pages and discovered the joy of reading thanks to a program backed by country music legend Dolly Parton. It was story time for the kiddos at the Slaughter Road Child Development Center. Giggles, smiles filled the room as young children dove into story time. And it's part of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which mails one free book each month to kids from birth to age 5. Back in July of 2023, more than 500 children in Madison County were enrolled. Today, that number has grown to more than 8,500. Organizers say it's more than just story time. It's about shaping futures, one book at a time.
From 0 to second grade, they read to learn to read. And then from third grade on, they read to learn. And one of the things we understand is if we can get them early and put a book in their hand at no cost to them because of our generous donors and supporters, we can make those things happen.
Yeah, those benefits are recognized beyond just Madison County. United Way says the local Imagination Library program now ranks 9th in the nation and 2nd in the state. Today, adults with disabilities had their fair share of fun with Kelsey's Place Summer Camp, a week-long program and a first in North Alabama. It kicked off at Madison Library for the Library for All event. Participants got their hands on arts and crafts, did some sit-down square dancing, and enjoyed live music. Rosalind Roper has been hosting a similar event in Montgomery for 18 years and told Fox 54 about the journey and need for a similar program here in the Rocket City.
It's been like it's been a very long, arduous task to have it come to Huntsville. But I know Huntsville has so many resources that they will enjoy it here. We have a lot of different things that we can do in Huntsville. So it's been hard, but it's been worth it because the people here in Huntsville need programs such as this summer camp for adults with autism.
Oh, yes. And when asked why the first day of the camp was held at the Madison Library, Roper told Fox 54 that for her, it was simply a culture choice.
The library always embraces the culture of inclusivity. They want us to have always impact in the community. So this is just thrilling because it gives us a chance to share our special needs families with other families to interact with us.
Roper says she plans to have more adult camps in the near future in Huntsville. Two big announcements this week in Florence and two tragic cases we've been following. We also have an update in the case of a Florence man arrested back in May for the death of a woman, 38-year-old Autumn Strickland. Florence police and the Lauderdale County District Attorney now preparing for Logan Rogers' trial, and they're seeking the maximum penalty. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo takes us to the Shoals for the latest.
Back in May, Logan Rogers was accused of the murder of Autumn Page Strickland after investigators found a body stuffed in a burn barrel at his house. Now he's facing a capital murder charge.
Strickland went missing around May 17th before police found her cell phone lying on the ground along Northwood Avenue. After seeing the security footage from nearby businesses, investigators say Rogers hit her twice with her own car before circling back later in a truck to retrieve the body. They're now using that video as evidence against Rogers, saying he took Strickland's body back to his house to try to burn it. This week, a grand jury upgraded those charges to capital murder. Lauderdale County's district attorney said in a press conference this afternoon that they will be seeking the death penalty.
We recognize the seriousness of what we are embarking on here, and that the death penalty is reserved for the most heinous of cases. And I would submit to you that this is one of those cases. We're going to pursue justice for her and for her family, and we're never going to forget the gruesome nature of what happened to her.
And Police Chief Mike Holt adding that it's still an active investigation while the police department works with the DA's office. He says with the case's circumstances, they took every consideration to find the evidence they need.
To the family of Autumn Strickland, I want you to know that you continue to be in my prayers. This is a tragedy, and what I hope is that you can find some peace in knowing that this case was handled with the highest level of care, professionalism, and determination. No stone went unturned, and no lead was not pursued.
Over 2 months after the fact, Rogers is being held at the Lauderdale County Detention Center without bond under Ania's law. In Florence, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
A court date has not yet been set for Rogers, who was notified today that he's facing capital murder. He will first receive a second court-appointed lawyer to help him fight that charge.
13-year-old Rylan Calvert was killed here at the Southern Oaks Village back in March. In the wake of his death, his parents, his school, and the community are all mourning his loss.
It was all part of an armed robbery gone wrong. A grand jury has heard 17 witnesses since March. They concluded that 17-year-old Cameron Finese influenced Calvert to rob an unnamed man who came to the apartment complex to sell him a pair of Apple AirPods, hoping to take those and his money. The man shot and killed Calvert in the parking lot, which the grand jury ruled was in self-defense. They concluded that Finese was responsible for Calvert's death because of his role in the crime. Florence Police Chief Mike Holt saying in a press conference this morning that it took investigators months of work to establish what actually happened that night in March.
They've worked tirelessly for months to establish the facts in this case. This case has taken a long time, and like the district attorney said, a lot of hard work has gone into it. Investigations of this magnitude do take time, and they don't allow us to release every single detail along the way.
Police charged Finese with murder and for being an accomplice to the armed robbery. Lauderdale County's District Attorney Chris Connolly saying this case is taking a toll on everyone involved.
It's just a hard pill to swallow that a 13-year-old child was involved in this. This is a really, really sad situation all the way around, because you've got a 13-year-old who never experienced life, and he was a great kid. It's been pretty traumatic for everybody involved, but most difficult for his parents and his host of friends.
My heart also goes out to the Calvert family. I've met with them personally as well, and I cannot imagine the grief that they're still experiencing and will continue to experience.
Finese is currently out on bond on an ankle monitor until his appearance in court. The DA saying they're working with Florence police to prepare for a trial. In Florence, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
It's not guaranteed to rain every day during an Alabama summer, but when it does, one Limestone County neighborhood says it has to deal with flooding, drainage issues, and the mosquitoes that come with them.
A Limestone County homeowner says drainage problems in their neighborhood are causing repeated flooding and standing water on their property. They believe the issue stems from how the lots were originally built, and they're now asking the county to get involved. In the subdivision just outside the Limestone County right-of-way, homeowners say flooding has become a recurring issue. They point to 20-foot drainage easements behind the homes intended to carry stormwater safely away, but say the system doesn't work as designed.
I moved in here in December. I was unaware there was any kind of flooding issues, and I brought it to the builder's attention, and they regraded the yard. Didn't fix it because there's no drainage connect back here. It just takes water and pulls it, so it's more like a retaining pond.
The homeowner reported the issue to the builder during a 3-month inspection in March. They say the builder later blamed the fence for causing the problem, but the homeowner argues the flooding started well before the fence was ever put in.
And they blamed the fence for the flooding issue, which doesn't make any sense because it didn't exist the first time I reported it. And I've been struggling to get them to just acknowledge the problem. When it floods, it'll be 40 feet into the yard. It's pretty bad.
Other nearby homes, including some from different builders, are connected to the same drainage system. The residents say the entire layout fails to channel water properly, leading to pooled water, mosquito concerns, and potential property damage.
I've engaged with the engineering department and the health department because there's a mosquito problem with standing water. So there's a disease vector risk there. And if I can't get any help there, I'm going to go to the stormwater management under 8M at the state level.
While the county can't mandate repairs on private property, officials say they understand the concerns and are open to conversations with the parties involved.
What we're doing in this situation, and every issue is different. But in this situation, we've reached out and we're working with the engineers and developers to try to come up with a solution in this case. Anytime you have such rapid growth and development, there's going to be some challenges. We have updated our subdivision regulations in the last couple of years to try to help with that, put some requirements on the developers and engineers to help offset some of those issues.
County officials met with residents earlier this month and say while their authority may be limited, they are willing to stay at the table. The homeowners are requesting county inspections, drainage reviews, and possible coordination with developers to address their long-term solutions.
Speaking of summer pests, watch out for ticks. And this week's Wellness Wednesday, we spoke to experts about tick-borne diseases and how you can protect yourself. Ticks are a common sight here in Alabama, but the pesky parasite can do more harm than just its bite. These bugs carry diseases. We learn more about what they carry and how to avoid them too this Wellness Wednesday. It's happened to many of us. You're enjoying the outdoors, you get back home only to find a tick on your body. First things first, how do you safely remove it?
Try to lift the tick as close to the mouth parts as possible. So you try to lift it away from the skin, grasp with a pair of fine tweezers toward the head and mouth parts, and then pull very gently with consistent force until it lets go.
In 2024, the Alabama Department of Public Health reported 130 cases of tick-borne illness. It's something the department says it tracks closely.
We tracked 6 specifically. The ones that most people know or have heard of are what people call Rocky Mountain spotted fever. That's the most common tick-borne illness that we see in Alabama. There's also Lyme disease, which isn't as common as it is in the Northeast, but we do have those reported every year. And something called ehrlichiosis, which looks a lot like Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Those are the big 3.
You might wonder why it's important for the state to track these diseases. Dr. Jonathan Rayner at the University of South Alabama explains why.
Knowing what ticks we have will help determine what potential pathogens may be present, and that could ultimately help clinicians to identify the specific pathogen that somebody may be infected with.
Here's another important step to take if you get a tick bite.
A resource called the Tick Bite Bot that you can interact with CDC's computer, and it will tell you what type of tick it might be so that you could better identify it.
Plus, knowing what type of tick bite you have could help with treatment.
If you catch it early, there's arguments to say early treatment could help ward off some of those long-term sequelae that would be associated with infection.
Yes, and if you want to learn more from the experts, check out this week's Ask the Experts on FOX54 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free. Let's wrap up this week with a birthday celebration. Huntsville's Marshall Space Flight Center celebrated 65 years with a big party at the Orion Amphitheater.
The Marshall Space Flight Center continuing their 65th anniversary celebration in Huntsville today. People were greeted by many vendors, including those from NASA, science centers, and the Marshall Space Flight Center. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman was there for the event and has more.
The Marshall Space Flight Center is celebrating their 65th anniversary here at the Orion Amphitheater in Huntsville on Saturday. But some special guests highlight the 65 years of history will play a crucial role in NASA's future.
65 years ago, we started to get our nickname, the Rocket City. And 65 years ago, we started writing pages of history.
As many showed up to celebrate 6.5 decades of MSFC history, the highlights were placed on how they're pushing toward the future.
The Center for the Rocket Design and Engineering is here.
This is, the rubber meets the road, where rockets were made and have taken us to places we couldn't even imagine back 65 years ago.
NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Don Pettit, two members of the Expedition 72 crew, took the stage in Huntsville highlighting their elongated mission. Sonny spent nearly 300 days in orbit after experiencing technical issues on the way to the International Space Station. Don joined her in September and spent 220 days floating above Earth. The pair have spent time in Huntsville this weekend meeting their teammates in North Alabama.
I know the voices. It's so funny to be up on the space station and to hear and talk to these people, and then all of a sudden you meet them and like, oh, I know that voice. So of course you know them. So it's really like coming home.
The heights of space exploration starting in Huntsville in 1960, but these astronauts say there's more to discover in the unknown.
65 years, we're just a baby. We have many decades to go as we get ready to live on the moon, and then as we take that big trip to Mars.
I've been coming here to work on the HLS project, the Human Landing System. It's being designed, it's being built by people working here in Huntsville, Alabama.
This community has brought the workforce and the innovation and the passion and excitement to help lead the agency and help lead our nation forward in space exploration.
In Huntsville, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Sonny Williams has spent more than 60 hours of spacewalk time in her career. According to NASA, that's more than any female astronaut in history. Don Pettit has spent nearly 600 days in space over 4 trips, serving in many roles for NASA over the years.
Today is Space Exploration Day, commemorating 56 years since the Apollo 11 mission put a man on the moon for the first time in history. Today, NASA officials are working to get back to the moon and beyond. This weekend, the Marshall Space Flight Center is celebrating their 65th anniversary with a few out-of-this-world guests. NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Don Pettit. They were both aboard the Expedition 72 mission, which left Williams stuck in space for nearly 300 days. I had the incredible opportunity to speak to them about the MSFC, about how the MSFC contributed to their flight and their eventual return to Earth.
Huntsville Station on Space to Ground 2, a question about the science.
Astronauts Don Pettit and Sonny Williams have spent hundreds of days floating above Earth in their careers, their most recent trip lasting a lot longer than anyone expected.
Having had some of the problems that we did on the docking axis, we knew by the time we docked that this might take a little bit longer.
The initial flight to the International Space Station in June 2024 brought technical issues. A trip that was only supposed to last 8 to 10 days turned into a 286-day mission for Sonny Williams. Don joined the crew in September, spending 220 days on board the ISS. The pair of astronauts spent time this weekend celebrating the 65th anniversary of the Marshall Space Flight Center. As part of those celebrations, they spoke on a panel to explain the work the Rocket City team puts into their missions.
The Marshall part of these missions is in the payload science. Marshall runs the scientific program for Space Station. And whenever we do science, which is about 50% of our time, we're talking with payload operations here in Huntsville.
Every day on the International Space Station, we call down and we'd say Huntsville at least 100 times a day. So that word in this city is akin to all the payloads that we're doing as we reach toward exploration.
As the MSFC continues to look back on their 65-year history, NASA continues to look forward to the future of space exploration.
We learn from our history, right? All these programs, if you look at all of the lineage of spacecraft and space programs, we all learn from the next one, and allow us to take the next big steps. Of course, we've been to the moon moon, but we just went to the moon real quick. We haven't really went to the moon sustainably and been there for a long time and really been able to use that as a platform for scientific discovery as well as exploration as we get ready to go to Mars.
Now get this, Sunny Williams has completed more spacewalk time than any other female astronaut in history. Dawn Pennant served in various roles as a NASA astronaut, most recently as a flight engineer on that Expedition 72 crew.
Well, what a celebration. Thank you for watching Fox 54's Week in Review. Count on Fox 54 Plus to bring you more great programming with in-depth local specials, locked on sports, true crime, cooking shows, wellness experts, and continuing weather coverage. For everyone at Fox 54 News, I'm Kenesha Dees. Have a fun and safe weekend.